This is Kate speaking. It's been a long time, taken a decade already, and we are still going through the events in the world and the news happening worldwide, and nearly we are in survival situation, a life and death struggles. So despite the long time taken for us to both develop the hardware, software, and understanding and both reality and in the quantum, and the discovery along the way, the integrity of the hardware. My God, this hardware itself is heavy duty, and excuse me, and not very difficult for you to understand that by itself. This hardware already approaching, believe me or not, infinity, and the integrity of the hardware. Now this one has a metal case in it. If you ask me any antimatter effect, any matter and antimatter effect, I can only answer you that I feel like a noticeable cushion. So we will approach the flower of life in quantum state, and we will first look at the half harmonic. If you consider a circle, its radius is precisely half of its diameter, and the half harmonic is referred to its radius. By following the half rule, so you would have every interconnected circle, and you would have in radius fashioned every interconnected circle. You end up with these geometries, these patterns known as the flower of light. And we would try to represent the geometry in terms of electronic and component, electronic and in terms of circuit. So both hardware is identical. Two identical hardware wire, it does not matter. The direction and the winding, a single wired hardware with identical direction, both are identical. You produce two coils. But in the actual operation, you can see the arrow. The arrow is another one's feedback current, which is not in the same direction, represent with this connection. Even though both hardware are identical, but in terms of operation, we end up with a common primary, secondary. Therefore, in its operation, the feedback current is given enough room to present itself in a secondary. And if you like, when we introduce these two identical same direction winding hardware, you would know this as a bifilar coil, which is running on pair. But in this instance, it does not matter. We have two identical hardware, both in terms of winding direction, etc. But in operation, we introduce a common and a primary secondary. We have three connections, a standard brushless motor. And in this case, the primary is twice in the previous one. The primary is a thicker wire, secondary is a thinner wire, even though they roughly have the same length, primary and secondary. But the thickness is different. In this case, the primary is twice as long as the secondary. Wonderful. And we introduce a common primary, secondary. Primary and these two coils are much identical, both in terms of winding and in terms of both are single wire, but the primary is noticeably longer than the secondary. And we will hop straight into our dynamic design. How would the electronic handle, how would the circuit and the electron handle in particular this case? One is much way longer than the other. It has been a mystery to us, a coil designed in dynamic fashion, because we are trying to representing a dynamic geometries. Now we look at the control electronics components. Now we can clearly see a common here. When you apply power to a common source, and you can see the primary and the secondary, and which is the emitter. And then vacuum tube, a neon or cap, AC caps, and its feedback to its self loop itself. So a common, primary, secondary, and it feedback to itself. Is finish a loop. And this control circuit is a representation of the half harmonic, which is you follow the rule, you interconnect every circle in its radius. Roughly, you end up with a half geometry present. And in order to dynamically representing the geometry of this flower of life, it has been a mystery to us. A triangle. It looks symmetric. It look functional. But when you're dealing with an odd number, positive. Hang on. Now. Positive 1, 2, 3. Positive, negative, positive. You have two positives here. How does it work? And even which is an odd number. If you have 4 positive, negative, and is balanced out, but this is 3. It has always been a mystery to us. 1, 2, 3. You have 2 positives, 1 negative. But if you carry on 3, 4, 5, 6, Bingo. 3 and 6 now is positive and negative. If you go on 6, 7, 8, 9, you would have one positive again. Positive, negative, positive. So this is the power of dynamic coil design, which is a toroid design with donut-shaped coils. Why go on the surface? Dashed line represent the go underneath it, web around, spin around. It's just like a textile artwork. Come back on the surface and finish a loop, and it's just much like an artwork and much like a textile design. And surprisingly, this follows the 369 rule, which this is the macabre design. It has always been a mystery to us concerning the quantum state. You can what the sun is obviously in quantum state. The sun ray and the sun radiation and the sun continuously compressed and radiating, crystallizing, and the sun is a quantum. And this bird is also in its quantum state. Its frequency is way distinctive than the rest, and quantum state. And if you look at some musical string instrument, because the string has a tension, and they also in quantum state. I'm referring to the situation set that the pressure and the crystallization of the object is maybe the string tension and the pressure of the inside the container, outside of the container, provide a mean that the object entering in its quantum state, particularly such as a bird, its frequency, make it a distinctive mark. If the bird is in its quantum state. Now, energy cube we can look at the internal mechanisms of this energy cube. So we are back to its original position. Normally we cannot prove, you cannot move this object. No way you can. Never you can. That is a supernatural power. This object will have no reaction whatsoever. But wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Now what on earth this thing is doing? So we will, you are telling me this object hop into quantum in and out without effort? I'm pretty much telling you that this object is hopping into a quantum without effort, in and out, just like that. No big deal. Why I'm saying this? Oh, please, Cake, don't play a toy on me. Don't toy around in a time like this. Get serious. Get things done. I'm getting things done. You can. Now my fingers is interlocking on this thing. You can indefinitely rotate this gyroscope indefinitely. Plus, it's accelerating. It's accelerating. Okay, I proved the point. So this gyroscope accelerates itself, regulating its rotation, and increasing its speed. So what about this rotor? What about a device entering into its quantum state? Whether it's pressure, tension, frequency, and in the quantum state, the normal physics, normal understanding of acceleration, normal understanding of rotating speed, and what we do not normally prove. Say we have the 100 hertz, 50, 30, 10 hertz. What's the big deal? We gradually decrease the frequency until we reach the quantum state of this geometry. We estimate it low, below 10 hertz. The reason for the low hum and the low frequency is because of these flowers. They are operating in the natural frequency. They are on the Earth's frequency. Say, for instance, in a room there is various person. This guy is in even 200-300 hertz, just like a everyday folk. But particularly, there is a slow guy. This guy in 10. It speaks so slow, and the topic this guy's related to is all about farming and honeybees, and particularly slow and low and deep, and the bass is unbelievable. The reason why I make this video is concerning a breathtaking physics, a breathtaking result, and breathtaking reading concerning these gyroscopes and a hardware that approaching infinity. Recently, there is a video, a infinity engine, Liberty engine without a control circuit, and the community is attempting, both in terms of hardware and resources, to address the development of the I have a situation with my address the development of the hardware in a difficult time. These gyroscopes and this hardware attempting, well, the hardware is floating in a lot of circumstances, and brushless motor development and car radiator both can produce, and particularly when the hardware approaches the quantums and operating physics is out of our understanding. Now this gyroscope for no apparent reason accelerates by itself and increase its speed, its mass, its weight, and also gone out of expectation, as the video has shown, is that the hardware indefinitely rotate. It spins on and on and on and on. Same as these gyroscopes. When the surface tension, frequency, and combining effect and allow the hardware to approach a state that is in a quantum physics set, we normally do not expect any outside force to influence the rotation of this gyroscope. No way. But with the demonstrations of the energy cubes, set in this is internal calculation, internal variations is much greater. The possibility is huge. This hardware has a ring to go as far as reducing its movement, reducing its restricting its freedom to rotate. We normally, you can see how stiff that is. So within the room, from 100 Hertz, we reduce it down to 50. we trim it down. You can see how stiff that is, which is not normal. We reduce it down to 10 and we approach the geometries. That is unbelievable. Normally we do not prove this, the outside factor can influence the rotation of the rotor. No way, but the calculation percent in front of your eyes, there is precisely this hardware approach a constant state around 10 Hertz. And precisely, I believe that this hardware approaches the natural frequency. And what you are seeing earlier with the rotating of these gyroscopes is belonging to the geometries. And this video is made in relation to a video I come across. Developer have an engine very much similar to the, not similar, but have involved a rotor with quite a mass. This rotor, you can say, is quite a mass, a chunk of mass. You can compare it to this gyroscope. And the device, the engines they develop is called a Liberty engine. Well, you can call it a lot of different names. And concerning the hardware approaching its quantum state. And the community well, there has been a long delay. I sometimes could not believe it's taken us so long to figure out both hardware, control circuit theories, and etc. etc. But we sum up with a control circuit that could, in general, in a very rough and basic comprehensions, and for the next episode, hardware development, whether it's not a whether this hardware is much like the case of an Liberty engine. This hardware already is in its infinity state, and we will see closely how the harmonic, how the geometries, and how the friends around the world, our brother across the other side of the world, at the moment is in such hardships, life and death situation, and much of us are in survival mode, and we will try to catch up